The Magician's Elephant movie plot you should know. The king was delighted when Peter succeeded in doing the second impossible task, and with just one step, Peter would win the elephant. Then people are waiting for what is the third impossible task. The king was confused, did not know what task to give. The king was thinking, but actually he preferred spontaneous things. Then suddenly the king stood up in his chair. He had a brilliant idea. The third impossible task, Peter had to make the countess laugh. What? It was impossible, and people weren't sure it would work either, seeing as it had been so long since they had seen the countess laugh again. People dispersed from the square, and that made it easier for Adele to get closer and touch the elephants. Adele talks to the elephant. Can the elephant tell her why Adele is there? Because the elephant appeared in her dream and seemed to want to take her away. Adele heard someone else's voice also speak to the elephant. He was Peter. Adele and Peter then chatted with each other, until the sister came looking for Adele. The three of them stood in front of the elephant, but did not recognize each other. Sister then grabbed Adele's hand and led her away. That evening while tending to the elephants, Peter told the elephants that he had prepared a good joke. That night Peter played with the elephants, until he fell asleep, and he fell asleep with the elephants. And Peter dreamed he was having fun with the elephant, and the elephant was meeting his family. There were a lot of elephants around Peter and they all seemed to like Peter. Peter heard his name being called by someone and woke up. In front of him were Matian and his wife. They said that it was time for the third impossible task. Peter looked at the elephant, and promised to bring the elephant back to his family. The time came. If the king heard the countess laughing, then the king would let Peter go on the elephant. Peter stood facing the people. He took a breath. Then Peter read me a funny story about a farmer and a fisherman. Peter told the story. People listened, some people smiled, but when the story ended, only one person laughed, the others didn't laugh, the countess didn't laugh either. Seeing Peter's gloomy face, the countess pretended to laugh so that Peter would win over the elephant. But the king knew that the countess was pretending to laugh. The king wanted the countess to laugh for real. The king apologized to Peter that the boy failed to get the elephant. But Peter refused to fail. Peter asked to be allowed to take the elephant away, not for Peter but for the elephant itself. The elephant had a family, and he was separated from his family. They must return the elephant. But the king refused. The king ordered the soldiers to take the elephant away. The soldiers got ready. Peter refused. The elephant looked rebellious, until the elephant's trunk inhaled the cat's hair in front of him. The cat's fur made the elephant sneeze, and sprayed green liquid right on the king. The king sat down with his whole body covered in green slime. Everyone was shocked and speechless. The countess looked at the king, and saw the state of the king, who was so sad and funny, making the countess laugh. The countess kept laughing, the king laughed, the people laughed, Peter laughed. And even though it was the elephant's doing, the king said that Peter won the elephant. Peter hugged the elephant. They did it. So how did they get the elephant back? The magician, of course, the magician who brought the elephant. That same day Peter visited the magician in prison. Peter was sure that a magician could return the elephant. Only a magician could fix everything. Peter and the crowd then led the elephant to the town square. Adele and the sisters also followed the elephant. Vilna for the first time also decided to witness the impossible become possible for real. Now is the time to send the elephant home. Even though Peter is sad, he realizes that the city is not the home for the elephant. And this is also the time for magicians to prove and make people believe in their magic. The magician began to cast a spell while touching the elephant. Peter continued to hug the elephant one last time. After the spell was finished, the elephant disappeared. People saw real magic, and now believe. The magician proves he can and restores people's faith in his magic. Suddenly the sun shone on where they were standing, a light that had long been lost because it was covered by a strange cloud. The clouds covering the city gradually dissipated. Adele approached Peter and said that Peter should have followed the elephant to find his sister. But according to Peter, that returning the elephant to where it came from is more important. Sister came and asked Adele to come home. Unexpectedly, Peter was surprised to see Vilna for the first time outside the house. Sister was surprised when she saw Vilna, as well as Vilna, surprised to see sister. The meeting was stiff because the sister thought the soldier had died, and Vilna also thought that the sister and the baby had died at that time. Sister realizes that Peter is the boy who was taken away by Vilna. Does that mean Adele is Peter's little sister he's been looking for? Sisters nodded. Adele hugged Peter. The people who witnessed the incident were happy. The incident had brought them back together as a family. Madian also hugged Peter. That night, at Madian's house, they had dinner together. For the first time, happy family dinner.